Morning, everyone. It is October 24th, 2017. Happy Tuesday morning to everyone. I'm making a quick video here with regards to a question that was sent to me that was a rather simplistic question, but apparently there's some confusion with regards to it. So I want to make sure that's addressed. As you know, I do not want people confused, and I understand now where the confusion is coming from, so I'm getting ready to clear that up. The question was from 6'2" Saki, and it states, if it's BS, why can you look it up, and why is the security created on the same date of birth? First of all, just so everyone knows, this was a comment that was made on my Proof Your Birth Certificate is Not a Bond video. My answer to that question is because you are giving it those parameters to work with, and the calculator does not show anything having to do with your social security number ever. Now, to interject, this person did get rather irritated that I said social security number and not birth certificate as what they had said, I believe. Or actually, they did not say that. They did not say anything about the birth certificate in their comment, first comment. So therefore, I was not clear, apparently, to them. However, social security number or birth certificate is what it should say. Either one, it does not matter. What you're looking at are serial numbers, not CUSIP numbers. It only shows amounts of purchase and amounts of interest and the dates that you put in. It does not come up with any other number after entry other than what you have entered. So after I had replied to the comment, I received another comment that was obviously rather upset or confused about the statement that I had made. As you can see, the first comment says, if it's BS, why can you look it up? And why is the security created on the same date of birth? Okay, first of all, I did not realize at the time that it was actually on the proof of birth certificate. I actually assumed that it was on the TDA calculator video that I had done. So that is my mistake, and I apologize for not putting birth certificate. However, the comment that was made after that is, we are talking about birth certificate and CUSIP number, not social security number. And we are talking about how the CUSIP number shows a bond. You do not need to enter the date. The system pulls the date on its own. Who said anything about a social security number for a bond? And if it is BS, could you please refute Eon 2's federal laws referring to this specific item? And then gives me the the CFR section that's the extended definitions as to these chapters and what's contained there. Now, I went ahead and I watched the video that they are referring to here. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the reasons behind why that video is actually giving disinformation. There are two different sections that are applied in that particular video. And for those of you that want to see the original video, I will put the description of where to locate the link of the video in the description section so you can watch it. But here we go with the reason behind where there's a problem with that video and why it's disinformation. First of all, the very first thing that is done with regards to that video is we are provided with this information from Cornell Law School, Legal Information Institute, and it tells us what the actual definitions in CFR 225.2 are for the purpose of this part. Now, for the purpose of this part, the part that this is in, just so you understand, is what deals, how you're dealing with the definitions, how you understand the definitions that are listed on a bond certificate. So this is a section that deals with definitions as how they read on a bond certificate. On a bond certificate, it reads agency, meaning a department, agency, or instrumentality of the United States government. Authenticated instructions means to verify that the instructions received are from a bond official. Bearer means that the ownership of a government obligation is not recorded, and so on. So you can see where it's giving us the definitions that you might find on the bond, where the contract section of the bond shows you on the back what the bond, when it, what maturity means and what all these different things mean that you might find on an actual bond. However, when you go down in here, it shows custodian. Now, this is referring to what custodian for a bond means. So for a bond, a custodian means a Federal Reserve Bank or an entity within the United States designated by such Federal Reserve Bank under terms and conditions prescribed by such Federal Reserve Bank. A depositary, specifically designed by the Secretary of Treasury for purposes of this part. Okay, what that means is that pertaining to an actual bond, yes, the custodian of the bond is a Federal Reserve Bank. A Federal Reserve Bank is who holds the bond itself for sale or the depositary. That's what it means. But then what this video does is it goes directly over to an entirely different section, which is this section, 363.27. And this section pertains to how to purchase for a minor. And what that person does in the channel is they tell you that, you see over here, it's showing you that the custodian means the Federal Reserve Bank. The custodian means the Federal Reserve Bank for that part. It even says that in here, for the purposes of this part, meaning that, yes, the custodian of the bond itself, of the bonds, all bonds, is a Federal Reserve Bank, all bonds. I go on there, I purchase a bond on the TDA.gov site. The custodian is the Federal Reserve Bank. That's who I'm purchasing it from. However, when you go into a totally different part of the section of the actual CFR, okay, when you go into a totally different section, then you're going to get different meanings for different things. Now, the meaning of a custodian, most people are aware of, but just in case you don't understand where the confusion's coming from, the confusion is coming from that video, because they're taking from a totally different section, section 225.2, which has to do with definitions that are actually on a bonded piece of paper, on a bond paper, and they're taking it into a legal guardian appointed by court section, which doesn't, the two only have to do with how to purchase a bond from a Federal Reserve Bank, okay? In order to purchase a bond from a Federal Reserve Bank, you must be a parent or an individual who provides the chief financial support of a minor in order to open an account for a minor. The person opening the account for the minor is referred to as the custodian of the minor's account, okay? Now, let's not discredit what it says above that. It says a parent or an individual who provides the chief financial support of the minor, meaning that, okay, you may be a foster parent, but a foster parent provides chief financial support. They provide food, they provide housing, they provide clothing for that minor. Or you might be a grandparent. The grandparent provides housing, food, clothing for the minor. Or you're a parent. It says right here, the person opening the account for a minor is referred to as the custodian. Now, when you mix that with this, it doesn't apply. And the reason it doesn't apply is because this is from section 225.2, which only refers to definitions for the purposes of this part. And this part is part 225, okay? And that is a subchapter of what is listed as definitions for what you will find on a paper bond. So I hope that clears this up. Custodian does not mean the same thing when purchasing for a minor as custodian of the bonds means in section 225.2 for definitions. That just simply is the way it is. If you have any issues with attempting to try to figure out if what I am telling you is actual, it's very simple. All you have to do is contact Fidelity and speak to one of their supervisors, and they will explain it to you, or call treasurydirect.gov yourself. Now, with regards to the remainder of what is on this particular comment, okay, I want to make sure that I don't leave anything out here. It states also rereading your comment, you redirecting my own comment and injecting words I didn't use, and therefore disinforming. I didn't say blank about a social security number. Okay, two things in this. Number one, I am sorry that I actually did not realize what video you were making the comment on at the time when I responded. I was simply trying to get back to you as rapidly as possible. However, what it should say is social security number / birth certificate, because either one, it makes no difference which one. They are simply serial numbers. They are absolutely not CUSIP numbers. CUSIP numbers are located on bonds, and you do not have a CUSIP number on your social security number. I have shown you why the reasons are behind the CFR statutes do not work in conjunction with one another. If you have further questions about that, I have suggested that you contact the treasurydirect.account.gov, or you can contact any securities agent and they will explain to you that the two sections have nothing to do with one another, and therefore the actual definitions in each section can mean different things. With regards to your cursing on the channel, this comment will not go up on the channel for others to read. I'm making a video about it to make sure that there's no further confusion with regards to the video that has been put out, but from this point forward, you will not see this comment. And the reason why is because I do not want cursing. I do not want there to be ugliness on this channel. I don't want further confusion for people who are trying to find the truth. So anyone who uses curse words or is particularly making derogatory statements against me or anyone else on my channel, I will not allow those comments to go through the filtering system, just so that everyone's aware. You brought up the social security number. You say I'm giving it parameters. Yes, you are giving it parameters. When you go into the calculator and you put a CUSIP number in that is not really a CUSIP number, and then you put in what type of bond it is, for example, those are giving it parameters. No matter what you think, those are parameters that you are allowed to provide it. The rest of the parameters and why those are important is because that is how the calculator is built. If the calculator doesn't actually locate whatever number you're listing in where it should be the bond CUSIP number, not your birth certificate or your actual social security number, it's going to provide you with the same information as it would based on the actual maturity date that you are entering in. It's going to give you 40 years of what the interest would be based on an amortization scale that is an estimate amount. It simply is what it is. That's exactly what it's going to do. You can contact Treasury Direct and ask them for yourself. That is exactly how the calculator is built. And so therefore, it is not going to provide you with the information that you are wanting. So therefore, coming up with your birth date and all of these other things, I have yet to have anyone show me where that actually happens unless you're the one who's putting in your birth date in where maturity date should be. And therefore, again, providing it parameters. Again, viewers and readers, I did not mention social security number. I did not mention adding parameters. I stated the CUSIP only. And one more nibble forethought. Why would parameters matter at all? That is the reason that parameters matter. They matter because it's how the calculator is built, and they matter because if you're giving erroneous information or information that is not meant to go into that calculator, it is not going to provide you with the proper information. That is why parameters matter. Okay, so I'm hoping this clears things up. For anybody who needs any additional information, please go to my TDA calculator video, which I will post in the description here. You also at any point can contact a securities agent at Fidelity or a number of other places that sell securities. You can contact them at treasurydirect.gov, and they will tell you how the calculator works, and they will also tell you, I'd speak to a supervisor, and They'll also explain to you that the CFR regulations have to be within the same section in order for their definitions to apply. So thank you so much for giving me a few moments of your time, and have a great day.